The Chinese chicken.
Have a drumstick and your brain starts ticking.
Watching X-Files with the lights on. Something, something. I hope the Smoky Man's in this one. I think I did that on a different one. And I still didn't know what that part is.
No, and I said craft dinner. It's like a lyric in a way different verse.
Yeah.
That's all I could think of. But then Smoking Man, like, do you remember watching X-Files?
Yeah, I took a class in college where all we did basically was watch X-Files.
What? That's cool.
It was TV criticism class, and a big chunk of it was watching the Smoking Man arc.
Yeah.
So we watched the ones where the Smoking Man was in it.
Like, until you said that, I'd completely forgotten about the Smoking Man in X-Files.
Yeah.
Like, very weird.
I've tried a couple times to go back and watch the series in full, but I kind of lose interest.
It's not the same. You know what, though? Also, if you think about the way things are now, we're so used to binge watching. But also, those older shows, they don't lend themselves to that.
Yeah.
Why does it feel weird?
I don't know. Because, watching some stuff and they, like, really play to the commercials
Yeah.
a lot. So you'll have, like, something ends and then they show it again right away, you know?
That's a really good point, actually. You are, because when you watch something on streaming and there aren't any commercials, you're right. It's paced better. Let's say better. Yeah. Yeah, and they don't have to repeat shit after the commercial. I used to joke about, like, watching General Hospital and, like, any soap opera, and it would be, like, cliffhanger Thursdays. You know? Like, no, it was recap Thursdays, cliffhanger Fridays. It was always kind of like that. It just, I mean, in a way it makes you want more, but
Yeah.
in a way it's also very draggy. Who cares? I can't believe I used to be so into soap operas. But it's kind of like we just jump around now. We jump around to different things, but we have so much available.
So much.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
I am Bridget.
I'm Wendy.
And this is Flickin' Beans.
We already took you on a ride.
Yeah, well, so what? You're welcome, as Tommy Wiseau would say.
What's Song?
What's song? I am super excited about this episode.
Okay.
For the coffee reasons.
Yes.
It's so special. You remember last week I was saying I was house sitting? Well, they left me a little gifty, which is coffee that is roasted by Alyssa's dad.
Aw.
I know. And it's very pretty, by the way, and it's a blend. So I messaged her this morning because I knew we were going to drink it, and it's currently brewing. We've got Joel as barista.
Yes.
Okay, so I messaged her this morning because what am I going to say about it? So I'm like very Freudian. I'm like, tell me about your father. Okay, because on the bag it says official coffee of Mark Jensen Racing. Okay, so she says, oh gosh, I'm not going to do a voice, but I could, and we could all like for everything that's Alyssa's voice.
Okay.
Like with an accent. I won't. Sorry, Alyssa. I love you so much. She says, well, my dad likes to get into new hobbies, and she thinks he started roasting after he remodeled every room in my childhood home. I'm laughing at that.
It needs a
while I read
project.
it. Yeah, he needed something to keep himself busy, and he loves coffee, so he got a little roaster. And his every year at Christmas, Alyssa and her sister get him green beans to roast. And then she said it's so cute because he'll go around at Christmas time with a Santa hat on and deliver coffee beans to his friends and family. And they all want to try to pay him, but he says no. Well, and I get this because once you take something you love and you start to charge money for it, it becomes a job.
Right.
This is a blending. I told you how pretty it is. It's light beans and medium beans. So it's kind of tea. Reminds me of like when you get eggs from, brown eggs, or the rainbow eggs. And they're living in Charlotte, North Carolina. So that's kind of cool. And so the racing part, he races a Mazda Miata.
Oh.
That's a fun fact, I think. I always wanted one of those, like little zippy.
Yeah.
Any little zippy car that potentially could be a convertible, I wanted so badly as a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Always affordable for me, but
yeah. Speaking of unaffordable things, did
Yeah.
you notice that we have a new truck in the driveway?
I did not. You have a new unaffordable truck? Why is everybody becoming truck people?
Well, we want to get a camper,
okay.
so we needed something that could haul it.
I want that bus to be active. That would
I think
be
we're
the
gonna sell the
dream.
bus. The bus drives, but doesn't stop still.
It's a bus like that would be a lot to maintain, and
Yeah.
it's old.
It's very old.
Probably finding parts would be it's
Parts are not terrible for
Beast.
that because it's got, a classic
Yeah.
engine, GMC kind of thing. But it's more like everything else that's falling apart on it. Like
Yeah.
the driver's side step is starting to decay.
It's the dream of if you did have money.
Yeah.
It would be so fun to just go run around renovating things.
Yes.
This is what TV has done to me.
I know. This is what it's done.
Yeah. It's made me want to. Well, okay. I heard this thing that was like, it used to be that you would compare yourself to the Joneses, to your neighbors, people in your community. But now with the way things are, it's like up comparing, or there's a term for it where it's like you think you should have what Kim Kardashian has.
Right.
Because we're shown that, in influencers now. There was nobody on your block that would have been an influencer. That's
No.
wild.
Yeah, there would have been somebody on your block that was like fixing up old muscle cars, maybe.
Yeah.
Was into home renovations, but it was more like practical.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wouldn't be these overhauls. And like, I feel that pressure like about our home a lot. Because one, we're messy. Two, it's a foreclosure and it still needs a lot of work. And speaking of projects that will never be finished,
It's the worst.
but it's like it's normal. When we were growing
Yeah.
up, like your house was just like normal. It didn't
Yeah.
need to be everything matching and
yeah.
pristine and like
That's why I appreciate realistic clutter in movies.
Yeah.
I've written that little note.
yeah. Speaking
Note
of
to
our movies,
self. Yes, speaking of
Let's-
our movies.
should we go into Real Genius? By
Let's
the way,
rock on.
So,
with
yeah.
your bad self.
it was Real Genius and
Weird Science.
Weird Science this week.
Mhm.
Both 80s era movies and very 80s.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, there was Val Kilmer is the lead, Chris Knight in Real Genius.
Uh-huh.
And I wrote it down. Oh, when they first meet, it's about a young kid who goes to like an MIT kind of school at 15.
Uh-huh.
Meets Val Kilmer's character, who was also a young prodigy, and they're rooming. And he goes, Val Kilmer goes to the kid, "You didn't straighten up, did you?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Good. All my filth is in alphabetical order."
Yes.
Which I very much identify with.
I
I know
know.
exactly where everything is.
Well, and he picked up something that was called something, and this is filed under K.
Yeah.
It wasn't, yeah. It was, I mean, it was comical how crazy his room was.
Mhm. I've read, and I don't know the science behind it. I just use it to reaffirm myself.
Oh, for real.
That,
I know what you're going to say.
Intelligent people are messy.
Yeah.
So we're just really smart.
Creative people are
Yeah.
messy too. I mean, it's shocking if you see an artist who is tidy.
Yeah.
It's shocking. To
Well,
me, it is.
There's so many like things that you have to have for art too.
Yeah.
So, especially like, if you're doing crafting or painting or music even, I mean, my wall is covered with them. So you have all that extra stuff that people that don't do that don't
Right.
have. But yeah, and I don't know if this is a creative thing or an ADHD thing, but like I can't find things if I can't see them.
Well, okay. When you try to find something, do you just close your eyes and you know where it's at?
Yeah.
That's me. Like, I know that I can picture it and I'll be like, I know that it is in the east corner. Like, I can, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's weird. When I throw things away or purge or reorganize, it does take a minute sometimes. If I had put my hand on it, then I know where it is.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I rearrange so often.
Could be.
Yeah. Not since I moved, though. When you only have like one or two ways to put your furniture,
Yeah.
you're kind of stuck. So, but that's why I have clutter. I rearrange that.
I just have a lot of things. Too many hobbies. Oh, yay, Barista Joel is here.
Oh, here come 2 cups of Mark Jensen Racing coffee.
Isn't that the name of your coach, Mark Jensen?
Is he? Whoa, what is happening?
Sorry, they're... What's happening? Okay.
No sugar.
No sugar, half and half.
Half and half.
This is my Harry Potter mug. Thank you, sweetie.
My Mark Jensen Bruce Beer. He doesn't race cars.
Yeah.
Oh,
His
okay.
high school, track and cross country.
this sounds like Mark Jensen's around the world should be our friends.
True. Racers and beer brewers. Onto it.
I was trying
Thank you,
to
Joel.
You're welcome.
come up with a jingle or a rap for Mark Jensen coffee. It wasn't going well, and I nearly caused an accident.
Mark my words. This coffee is delicious.
It is actually.
That's really good.
It is really good. Thank
very-
you.
Very smooth.
Smooth.
Like almost no bitterness.
Like a baby's butt.
Shout out. Well, I was going to say go support him, but he doesn't sell it, so never mind.
Nope. Become his friend. Mm-hmm. And
Become our friend.
He might Miata his way to your house with a bag of beautiful coffee. Okay. Whew, that is good.
Yeah.
That is good. I am not leaving the bag here. No.
Yeah.
Never. I might finish it because I didn't tell you this, that Alyssa showed me, she shouldn't have, where her K-cups are.
Yeah.
And I ended up feeling so guilty about drinking all her coffee that I replenished them.
Yeah.
She doesn't know this, but I got French roast for her, and I got some Sumatra, and I literally finished that. She has no idea there was Sumatra at her house. It's very embarrassing.
Yeah, those for people that are like really like to drink a lot of coffee, those K cups, they don't do the job.
I wish I was that person that could just be like, I mean, I'm doing it this morning. I do it at the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't, because I already had
Yeah.
cups and cups of coffee. I'd like to think it makes me hydrated, but when I look at the amount of liquid that I am taking in,
Yeah.
it's shocking.
I think they kind of have changed their mind on whether coffee really dehydrates you.
Oh,
Like I've heard it both ways, but
well, it's
I
more
think-
water than caffeine.
yeah, it's not if you're drinking like Monster Energy drinks and stuff
Yeah.
that's got like 300 milligrams of caffeine in it,
Oh,
that is going to dehydrate
or if
you.
you go light ice.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Two-Tailed Mermaid store, I saw that they have energy drinks that are sparkling. I'm pretty excited to try. I'm not going to go there. Yes, I am.
Tell,
No, I'm not.
tell Seven where they need to add glitter.
Glitter.
There's edible glitter.
Seriously? They need to add glitter and sparkle.
Mm-hmm.
God, that would be amazing. Yeah, I was when I was editing the Hedvig episode, I'm laughing because I was struggling to find a phrase, and I was like, there's glitz and there's glamour. I was like, really? And sometimes I'm just like, I said that. I am so cool for school. Okay, back to the weird science.
Anyway, that's some of the banter that
People
you'll
feel like this is Val Kilmer's best role, like quintessential Val Kilmer. I can believe that.
I did really like him in this.
Yeah.
It looks like he was having fun. It was a fun role to play because they're basically just goofing off all the time.
And he's so hard to keep up with. If you knew him, I would just be like, my God, have a conversation.
Which one is more exhausting, Val Kilmer or the Jordan character, the girl that is like super hyperactive and like refinishing her floor?
I loved her.
Me too.
How cute was she?
I'm Jordan. I forgot to tell you my name. I'm Jordan. I heard there was going to be someone new this term. Are you it?
Yes.
Oh, do you have a bed?
Yeah.
I was going to make you one if you didn't have one, but you have one. Okay, I'll see you later. Okay, bye.
Bye.
extra.
Ooh.
You're the best.
Joel tops it off.
Joel, what would we do without Joel?
I don't know.
He keeps us together.
He sure does. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. So, but basically we've got, I researched this morning. Just out of curiosity, I searched Real Genius versus Weird Science.
Yeah.
And not shockingly, this is a thing.
Okay, yeah.
There was actually a whole website, and it was called consequence.net. And this was a sort of an editorial column they have, I guess, called Versus.
Okay.
So I'm sure we can find other things that we can compare. For example, Freddy's Five Nights at Freddy's versus Willy's Wonderland. Okay, so they refer to one of the tropes of the time. We love 80s tropes. Fresh-faced overachiever befriends slacker.
Yeah.
And both wear leisure suits as a result. I love waking up to a good belly laugh. And so, you know, they had other things to say about that, especially about, mostly, the second movie. So we can talk about that later, but, you know.
Real Genius, my summary is that it's just one big dad joke. Because Val Kilmer does so, I don't know if I wrote any of them down, but like he does a lot of things where it's like the double meanings of words.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you would say like I'm hungry and your dad would go, hi hungry, I'm dad.
Yeah.
He does a lot of that.
Lame.
Like different versions of straight and, you know, lots of dad jokes like that. But they're coming at you so fast.
Yeah.
You almost don't get a chance to appreciate like what he's saying because he's like, pew, 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 pew.
Yeah. Maybe like Letterkenny sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it is. You're right. One big dad joke.
Which I loved.
Yeah. I also love dick jokes.
Yeah.
So there's that.
There's a few of those in there too.
But yeah, exhausting.
Freaking laser beams.
It occurred to me that, the gist of it is they're trying to make a very, very powerful laser.
Mm-hmm.
And secret government groups exist that the president doesn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to, vaporize a single human from outer space. It's so stupid. But again, searching this morning, these don't exist to that strength yet, but will in 2029 in the UK. Did you look this up too?
I didn't for this movie, but I've heard about it.
Yeah.
We're real close already with drones and stuff. But yeah, the laser hasn't been like really perfected. But
right.
I mean, it's wild to think like, I don't know, I wrote down for some reason, but they flash back and forth to the secret government organization that they're sitting in a room with no windows. And I was like, man, do you think that like, first of all, being in that industrial military complex, like that's your job, is so wild to me. And also they have to do it in secret, so you're literally always going to be like in a building that doesn't have windows.
That's gross.
And like that can't be good for your health.
And what's it for? Money?
Yeah. I mean,
power.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. It's like, are these government officials really making that much money? Or is it it's the people that are making this stuff, right?
Well, they're being backed by some huge corporation.
Yeah.
But, anyway, I was like, this is kind of like a reverse Oppenheimer. Okay. You get me? You feel me?
Because they don't know what they're working on, yeah.
Oppenheimer is like, he's like, what you do with it is your business. Mm-hmm. I built it. It works. Good day. I know I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Whereas these two guys, they have some shocking, like, morals and scruples, which they're young. I don't know, but they are gonna go against it. They're not gonna let it in the hands of people so much more powerful than they are.
I think it's one of the unbelievable things is that they didn't figure it out sooner.
Right.
Like, why do you think you're developing a laser?
Right.
But they're being maybe purposely naive.
Right.
It's got so many uses, and you're like,
Well, it's because they're having fun with it, and boys like to blow stuff up. And it wasn't until Closet Guy, he was the one that said, "Hey, well, why do you think this is so there's a guy that comes and goes from their closet.
Yes.
But turns out it's just the most elaborate lair. So great. And he'll just show up, duck into the closet with a bag of fast food. And yeah, it is amazing. But he ends up being a child genius prodigy, but he cracked under the pressure. No one really knows he's still living on campus. So it's so great. I don't know that actor's name off the top of my head, but I like kind of goofy. Anyway,
yeah,
so
he kind of becomes like the sage character, the wisdom, the voice of reason,
Yeah.
even though he's like mentally ill.
Right. Right. And speaking of, this isn't speaking of mentally ill, but one of the ways that he is getting by is entering sweepstakes.
Yes.
Which is so great. He's like, this is the Frito-Lay sweep, no purchase necessary. And he's calculated his odds of winning. But not only that, but he's got a machine that's chunking these entries out for him. It's brilliant. It was weird to see that because I literally watched almost all of a documentary called The Contestant.
Okay.
Which literally happened in China. It was a reality show where they picked a random man out of people who thought they were auditioning. Woo-hoo! Coffee break! Let's talk about our beans.
Hey Bean Flickers, have you followed us yet? We are on Instagram and Facebook at Flickin' Beans Pod. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave us a review.
I won. So they put him in a windowless room and said, you need to survive on sweepstakes winnings. Here are your envelopes, your pen, a typewriter, a phone, and a radio. And they took all of his clothes. He was naked.
Why?
Okay, but fun fact. So he was completely stripped naked. He's being filmed, but he's told that they're probably not going to use most of this footage. Okay. However, he was literally broadcast and had no idea. It was literally a Truman Show.
Oh, yikes.
And this poor guy, at first they put a black dot over his weenie, but later they changed it to an eggplant. That is the beginning of our eggplant emoji. Honest to blog.
Wow.
Because his name means eggplant. Which, come on. How amazing is that? We have just literally, that's it. We reverse engineered the eggplant. That's where it comes from. So check that out. And the reason I didn't watch all of it is it was hard to watch. This poor guy suffered for entertainment. And the guy in charge knows he's evil. Just like the guy in charge of the project in Real Genius. You know, he's in it for the money and the fame, riding on the coattails of genius students. What an asshat. Did you wonder why there was no adult in the lab ever?
Yeah, I did. Because, why is he not supervising what they're doing?
They're literally exploding things. Things are catching on fire. It's not clean.
Yeah.
It is it's like his dorm room. Everything is dirty and I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, and then especially when you find out that if something gets on the
I thought my taste buds were off based on Friday at Fire Trucker. Shout out to Fire Trucker.
Yeah, that was a great
had
gig.
Such a good gig there. I believe I was standing at the bar and I look across and I was like, are those my sunglasses? I am now 1,000% sure that those are my sunglasses. I must have had them on my head and laid them on the bar and then walked off with my drink because I was happy then.
Speaking,
my
shout out to the Ritzmans, Katie and Bill. But Katie told us that she's been listening to the podcast.
I love it. So great. So great. And I've met Katie before, and she's so nice.
Yeah.
And your whole family was there. And everybody's getting tipsy. Your dad was grinning ear to ear, and I don't know if you caught my eye. I tried to exchange glances. It made me just giggle. Oh my gosh, he looked like he was having a blast and like a very proud dad. So sweet. Even your brother was there.
Yeah.
That was great.
I was trying to think like if Kurt has even seen us before, but
well, at the wedding.
The wedding, but
yeah. So anyway, back to Real Genius and that dick professor.
Yeah.
Well, there's that whole montage that cracked me up where I'm guessing that everybody was working so hard on this laser that they just weren't showing up to the lecture. And so back in the 80s, like we talked about transistor radios. And yet back in the 80s, everything was boom boxes. And so there's these giant boom boxes, and you know you got to press record and play and put a cassette tape in there. It was fun to just see all these boom boxes, and at first there's only like 15, and then the whole place is filled with boom boxes because no one's there. And then the professor's desk is a reel-to-reel recording, and on the chalkboard it just says something to the effect of "math is hard, so listen carefully." Because you don't have it written on the chalkboard. Oh my God, math.
Math is hard.
I don't like it. Numbers are just shapes to me. And I've said that before, and I'll say it again. I'm an artist. What can I say?
Okay, you do have an art degree.
I do. Speaking of, school and nonsense, have you ever had a successful group project? That whole working togetherness and actually come into fruition with what you intended.
Yeah.
Not only do they build the laser itself, but they get back at the professor in the most creative way possible. Most creative way.
Yeah.
It's like when you take that little something that someone said, and you remember it, and then you like give them that gift at Christmas, and they're like, "You remember?" Yeah, the professor hates popcorn.
Yeah.
God damn, they built the biggest Jiffy Pop inside his precious house. Speaking of remodeling every single room in your home,
which they allude to that he's been using the laser funds to do.
Yeah. He is just bad all around.
Yeah. Plus, who doesn't like pop?
Right? Oh, exactly. He yells at his dog and doesn't like popcorn. He is a monster. Who wants that in their life?
Yeah, I did enjoy the how joyful the like TA was at that point, because he there's this TA who is, you always have to have the straight man who is the sucking up to the teacher, but he's the one that's eating popcorn when the professor's like, I hate popcorn.
Yeah.
And then he is inside the building when the popcorn's coming out, and it's just covering him, which, by the way, he would totally burn in real life. But it was a fun moment for him to just be so excited about all the popcorn and the professor's house exploding.
I mean, we know that lasers are technically real, but why didn't the popcorn just burn?
Yeah, it would.
It would.
Especially with the power that they were doing.
But it was kind of it was basically slicing through the house. So maybe that residual heat is got to be what, but still it's so hot. Hotter than the sun or some shit.
Yeah.
In that case, they changed the coordinate. The laser was supposed to hit a fake motorcade. Looked an awful lot like Kennedy.
Yeah.
Because they were old cars and they had people in convertible old cars. That was rude.
Yeah.
Too soon. But instead, those guys set it in motion, and it was brilliant. just brilliant. But what I was thinking about was back when they were on campus and they were still trying to figure out the whole laser, that Val Kilmer's character puts up one tiny little mirror and creates a laser field across campus meant to be followed, and everybody ends up at a party that's already in progress.
Right.
Okay.
Also, it's a tanning party.
It's
The
a
lasers like tanning them.
It's so funny. Well, and then they've got a stage, but then they've also created like a swimming pool. You know what though? Swimming pools in places where they shouldn't be is it's a fantasy. It's a routine fantasy of mine. I used to think when I was a little kid that if I could just come down the stairs and then swim
Yeah.
to the kitchen. I don't know why. I mean, as an adult, that's a flood nightmare and not a fantasy. But yeah, like in the back of a pickup truck.
Sure.
I've done that.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever done it, but I've seen it done.
Such a waste of time.
I bet. Does it take just like
doesn't
so
work.
long to.
It doesn't work. It will leak.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you're not going to try to seal it.
Right.
And
You
then-
just put a tarp in there,
Because
right?
the gist of it is you really want to swim while you're driving
Yeah.
around town. People just don't misuse pickup trucks like they used to.
I know. You can't. Well, they made it illegal. Well, I think in some states maybe you still can, but you can't ride in the back of the pickup. It's illegal. So
Well,
They can-
I guess.
that they don't feel that way in Mexico
No.
or Costa Rica. I saw it a
Yeah.
lot, and I was like, oh man, I remember.
It's called a convertible minivan.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello. But I feel like, yeah, I don't know if it was illegal when I was doing it, but I feel like I rode in the back of pickups a lot as a youth.
I did too. With a dog.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not safe.
It's not.
It's not.
I even like cringe a little bit when I see dogs in the back now.
Yeah,
Because
for
you're
real.
like, what if it just decides to jump? You don't know.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
I
That
mean,
happens.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Gross.
A friend of mine, her dog jumped out her window. Like,
Wow. Was it Coop?
no.
Oh, I was going to say that's a big old dog.
No, it was a former fitness instructor for a gym I used to go to. She was telling the story. She was driving down Fleur, which is a 4-lane road in town, and her dog jumped out the window.
Well, she's probably fit enough to run after it.
Yeah. And she's just like, I'm chasing him through traffic.
Crap. Oh,
Oh my
Jesus.
gosh.
That's a nightmare.
Oh, the worst.
I have a seatbelt in my car for the dog.
Yeah.
And it's pretty slick. I recommend it. It just clips right into the normal seatbelt and then it has a little clippy and I put it on his harness and he can't get all the way. He can do co-pilot. But he can't get into the front seat and he can't get out to the windows.
Yeah.
So it's good. That way you can open your car door and put something in and just be barked at, but not have to run
Not have to
after him, right?
Push your dog back. Yeah.
Right.
I should get something like that for her.
Mm.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
So that's real genius.
That I wanted to throw out at the party and also in all of the other scenes with a lot of people, those extras.
Yeah.
Pretty extra. I honestly, when you know that when they make movies, like the dancing is to nothing. Wow. It's bad. It's really bad. And if you catch it, there is an extra to the left of the screen who is literally having a neuromotor breakdown. Oh my God. But back to the TA guy. Why, whenever they tried to put braces on somebody in movies back then, why do they look so weird?
I don't know. Well, were braces still like the
Wrap
kind
around?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably where they get the term metal mouth.
Yeah.
Boy, they just look terrible.
Did you ever have braces?
Yeah, I did.
I did too.
I
But
liked
were they
them.
the wraparound or the glue on?
Glue on.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they were still doing wraparounds by the time I had them.
Awful.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I liked having braces. I liked when my mouth was sore. I had the rubber bands.
Me too.
So great. And then a retainer, which I didn't like as well. Thank God I didn't have the headgear.
Yeah.
Right. Speaking of the second movie, Anthony Michael Hall in 16 Candles, when he had that headgear. Mom! Anyway, that's our second movie, was The Weird Science. Anything else to say?
I just
Sweater weather.
noticed in my notes that I wrote that Val Kilmer is a dad joke dreamboat.
Oh, I like it.
He's really cute in this movie.
Episode title. Do you know what
He's
else?
so young and like cute.
Everyone has natural teeth back then, including Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
I had no idea he had that cute little gap. That's adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Is it better or worse then versus now? Teeth.
I don't know.
I pay too much attention to people's veneers.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they do look nice.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things where we're like homogenizing how we look.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that like makes us different is our teeth a little bit. And so like when people start getting that, then they start looking alike.
Yeah.
And then they start getting lip filler and Botox and all that stuff. And you all have the same kind of face. I don't love that.
Unless you're Tom Cruise and you want to put one of your teeth right in the middle of your face instead of on either side. He's just different. Yep. All right. So let's move on to Wyatt and Gary. Wyatt. I had such a crush on Wyatt. Those lashes. Almost like yours. And he's got the lash game today. Those are real.
Not these.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Such wide-eyed youngsters. Little babies. The gist of this story, and I mean, everyone has to know it. I think more people know Weird Science than know Real Genius, even though maybe Real Genius is the better movie.
Oh, absolutely. I liked it way better than Weird Science, but
most people agree.
I knew about Weird Science though, even though I hadn't seen it,
because it's so quoted.
Yeah,
everything down to Bill Paxton as a talking pile of shit. And gist of the movie is two nerds use their computer to create the woman of their fantasies.
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of like AI before AI was really a thing. Somehow it works in whatever fantasy world. It's supernatural. Whatever happens. It's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
You know, we believed that, sort of. It's Poor Things. It's not
kind of, except they don't have a body. They make her out of a Barbie doll.
They make her out of a Barbie. When they so they're kind of building her on the computer, and they're deciding how big to make her boobs. And Anthony Michael Hall says the most precious thing. It's not anything bigger than a handful is a waste, which is the phrase I know.
Yeah.
He says anything bigger than a handful and you're risking a sprained tongue. I just go, they're so precious. They do not know anything about anything. What are they thinking you're supposed to do?
Yeah. You know, I think that those kind of like innocent, especially at that age, doesn't exist anymore.
No, you're right.
Because they have so much access to information.
Yeah.
Like you really didn't, without the internet, you didn't have a way to know about that stuff except what like you've seen your friends tell you
from your other friends. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was kind of charming. But in general, I hated this movie.
Well, okay. So nowadays, it's, and we've had this come up before, it's super inappropriate to have an adult with a youngster. But as in Poor Things, Mark Ruffalo's character did not actually realize that she was mentally a child.
Yeah.
He didn't know. He just thought she's dumb.
Yeah.
And in this one, they created her. So in a way, she's also the smartest person in the whole movie. For me, it's that they create this woman of their fantasies, and through basically hanging out with her, realize that they're just idiots in the world, and she's way out of their league, but she teaches them. She teaches them how to believe in themselves, and you go back to that. It's another trope of the older woman showing you the way.
Yeah.
And I think if she hadn't basically taught Wyatt how to kiss, it would be less cringy.
Yeah, I didn't like that part.
She was a mentor, and then it was this. Had she not done that, there wouldn't have been anything sexual between them other than, she basically makes them over, puts them in suits, takes them out in the town.
She also, like Poor Things, because she's made out of the ether, doesn't have shame,
right,
or a lot, and doesn't care about social norms and stuff like that,
right,
which ends up being a good thing,
right,
because she's not afraid to stand up to people and stuff like that. But
right.
I saw the parallels there too. If you're not brought up in our society, then you don't have shame about things that maybe you shouldn't really have shame about,
right.
But you should have shame about being 23 and making out with a 15-year-old. In my opinion, I didn't like that part, but and the whole, creating a woman in our image, is tough. And I think I would feel differently if I had nostalgia for this film, but I don't.
Yeah. Oh.
So I think a lot of people love it from the time, and they have nostalgia, good memories of it. So it's like a feel-good movie for them. But me watching it now in 2024, I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think it was a lot of stuff that I thought it was going to be. It wasn't.
Right. Yeah.
Where was the humor, I guess? Or maybe the humor was so tied up in objectifying women that I didn't like it. I don't know.
I think that it's John Hughes. So this movie actually came in between The Breakfast Club.
Okay.
Weird Science, Pretty in Pink.
Okay.
So you've got Anthony Michael Hall coming off The Breakfast Club in that, do you remember him from Edward Scissorhands?
No.
He beefed up. He was like roid rage. So when I saw him in that, I really missed this little guy.
Yeah.
Everybody grows up, but
right.
I drew comparisons to Mary Poppins.
Okay.
And Lars and the Real Girl.
Okay. I haven't seen either of those.
Oh, Lordy B.
I know. We've talked about how I haven't seen Mary Poppins before.
Oh. Okay. So Lars and the Real Girl, he orders a sex doll, a very, expensive, very realistic sex doll.
Yeah. I think I've seen the trailer for it. Is it, what's his name? Ken?
Yeah, it's Ken.
Yeah.
And it's basically a practice model for him. It's not sexual. It's almost just makes him comfortable around a girl, even if she's a doll. And the entire community accepts her, but it helps him get through something that he needed to get through, which is so sweet. Ugh, I love that movie so much. As weird a concept as it is, it does the same thing where a girl who is in your league, I don't want to say it's that concept of, making someone jealous makes them interested in you. But in both those films, the girl who is in your league sees you in a different light, and becomes more relatable, and, it works. So in the end, these two guys get girlfriends.
Yeah.
And we don't need Mary Poppins anymore. And she disappears, takes all that chaos with her, takes the leisure suits with her, and everything is
Yeah.
okay.
I did enjoy the weirdness of like how she could manipulate things and like put the house all back together and
Put the grandparents in the closet.
yeah, froze them in time. All of that stuff.
Nana.
It made no sense, but I loved it. It was very, like magical.
Yeah.
She was like a witch, sort of.
I mean, Jumanji.
Yeah.
We love that. We Cat in the Hat. It's like, holy shit, we're gonna get in so much trouble, and then everything magically comes back into place.
Yeah. Did you ever see Sword in the Stone, the Disney version?
Yeah.
In the beginning, when the wizard's like putting everything into the bag, and he's like do 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 do
I
do,
love
and everything's
that.
like dancing, and then it goes into his little like medicine bag.
I love that.
My favorite scene when I was a kid. I used to
Well,
watch
if you like a bunch of things in a medicine bag, you're gonna love Mary Poppins
Okay.
and her carpet bag.
it. Awesome.
God damn, girl. This is that we should put those two together and
Okay.
then go Mary Poppins Lars versus Weird Science Fiction. No, not really, but we are kind of experts on the tie-in and the circle round. Full circle. Kelly LeBrock. She was huge.
Is that the woman?
Yes.
Okay.
So she was huge. She was a supermodel, cover of Vogue. But I was like, she was in a couple movies, but I was like, no. I remember her being constant. So I was like, what was it? Pantene commercials.
Oh, okay.
Pantene shampoo, which was really good shampoo, by the way. And her tagline was, "Don't hate me because I'm beautiful."
I've heard that before.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was her. And it went on, to my recollection. It basically is imprinted. It's stuck in there, in our brains, just like, where's the beef?
Right. I was just going to say that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
advertising is funny that way.
Yeah.
It's meant to
It is.
stick with you. That's the point.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. My hair used to be a joke. Dry, split ends. Then I discovered Pantene. Pantene has this pro-vitamin formula that actually strengthens your hair from inside. It's incredible. Even with everything I put my hair through, it looks so healthy, strong, shiny. Listen, it won't happen overnight, but it will happen.
Pantene. Serious care for beautiful hair.
You'll see.
I was going to tell you. I was going to tell you that Robert Downey Jr. is wearing 2 belts. And I about died laughing. I was like, look at that.
Made his butt look good.
It sure did.
I didn't notice that.
2 belts. Have you ever seen Less Than Zero?
I don't think so.
We will deep dive into Robert Downey Jr. and the cocaine-fueled life of rich kids in the late 80s.
Yeah.
Wowzer. That is, that's one of those movies like Wolf of Wall Street where the guy just like wrote it about his own life. And it's a wild ride. And you can't believe anybody came out alive. Anyway, that is... it's good and bad.
Yeah.
It's fine for its time, and it's a John Hughes, so you don't get a lot of laughing
No.
with John Hughes.
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
But the concept should have been a lot more lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and I thought because this movie is like so beloved, I thought I was going to enjoy it more.
Is beloved the right
I feel like.
coloration, or is it just like a pop culture point in time? I want to dig for a word that just, because I wouldn't say beloved,
Okay.
but I would say impactful.
Iconic.
Iconic, thanks. Jesus. Iconic.
Okay.
You did it. Iconic.
Professional.
Yeah, you are a professional writer. It does have a lot of quotable quotes. It has a lot of memorable. I'm going to say this was a movie for boys.
Yes.
This wasn't something that girls went out to see.
Mm-mm.
Girls went out to see 16 Candles and anything and everything that Molly Ringwald was in.
Mm-hmm.
So we skipped over this one.
Yeah.
But the boys it appeals to 1,000%. What boy was not a horny kid?
Yeah.
Just
it seems from how it's portrayed in movies and stuff that being a teenage boy was not very much fun.
Being a teenage girl,
It wasn't,
or a boy,
for different reasons.
yeah.
but-
I mean, this is back to bullying.
yeah.
Bullying and bullying, low confidence, fitting in, just, what group you're in, how that matters, what you wore, every fucking thing matters.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't. You should just be having fun.
Exhausting.
Yeah. You should have more comedy in your life.
That's right.
Please.
And I just was looking at my notes, and another really cringy part that didn't age well is when Anthony Michael Hall is hanging out with those like jazz musicians.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah.
Doing all the ebonics. It was so bad.
I was trying to not bring that up because, and when I read this whole Versus thing, article, like they were loving it that he was being, quote, a middle-aged jazz enthusiast. And I was with you. I was like, he is on purpose talking like an old black man.
Yes.
Blues, not jazz.
Yeah, whatever.
Jazz, blues,
Sorry.
blues, jazz, alt jazz. No. So yeah, I mean, I didn't feel like it was uncomfortable.
It was very uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and it went on forever. He kept doing it in the car, and I was like, "This bit is over. Let's stop it."
So think about this time period, and I consider that racist. I think we both are. But in 16 Candles, you've got Long Duck Dong, which was also a very like racist whole
Thing.
arc there. So I just think it was, something that wasn't that frowned upon then.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, and this reviewer liked it, and that was written in 2015, but it's still not.
No,
It's not.
It was uncomfortable for me.
Uncomfortable.
And I realized
and not
like,
necessary.
Yeah.
At all. And he continued that character all the way through that, beyond when they reached home from the bar.
Yeah.
Don't.
it reminded me of a real thing that happened to me once that like
God.
so maybe it's happening, but I was when I first got out of college, I had this job where I traveled and for work full time, and one of my coworkers was from Chicago, Milwaukee area. He was Puerto Rican and
Puerto Rican
of descent, but he had a Midwestern accent. He talked just like me. And we went to a club in Alabama, and we're waiting for our taxi to come out. And he starts talking to this black guy that's also waiting for a cab in the really thick black accent, and like saying things like, he asked him like, "Oh, there are a lot of bitches in there and stuff." And I was like, "Who is this person?"
Stop.
It was so embarrassing. And I was,
wow.
once we got in the cab, I was like, "What the fuck was that?"
What did he say?
He was like, "That's how I talk normally." I'm like, "I've never
No,
heard you talk like
don't.
that."
Yeah, no, you don't.
It was like
Ew.
so weird. And I could tell, well, the guy probably was like, "Who's this drunk stranger talking to me?" Anyway.
My God.
But I don't know if he could tell that he was being disingenuine or whatever. But like,
my God.
ugh. Plus also you were calling them bitches. I didn't like that, sir. Anyway, this was 20 years ago. So
Oh my
maybe he, and it was still like a thing. I guess it still is a thing to
I
code
think
switch.
if I tried to throw down some of that, I would definitely be in my own accent. Like when once I was drinking, and wait, I'm always drinking. Once I was, I think you were there. It was
Yeah.
after a gig. We went out for Mexican food.
Okay.
And up to my eyeballs in slosh. And I ordered from the Mexican waiter, huevos rancheros. And I think he was cry laughing, trying so hard to take everybody else's order. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. That is an awkward thing, that because I know a little bit of Spanish, like
Oh, yeah.
conversational Spanish. So when I'm talking to someone at a Mexican restaurant that I speak Spanish as well, I don't know whether or when I'm just talking to someone who is a native speaker, is it weird to pronounce the words like in their accent, or is that just how the language is?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that no matter what I do, I'm going to sound like very white and American to them.
Are you going to roll your R's?
But should you, or should you, is that part of the language, or are you being offensive? I don't know. Somebody tell me.
I agree. Somebody tell me. I mean, what's your initial, what do you want to do? I want to not use their accent.
Same.
Okay.
But I think that some of it is just the language. It's pronounced that way, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because I think it's not huevos. I think it's huevos.
Huevos?
Huevos. Someone please correct us.
Don't keep saying huevos too much.
Huevos. Why are you putting so much emphasis on the H?
Oh, you got some pie, huh? Can I have a piece? Sure. Ooh, let me have some of that Cool Whip. What'd you say? You can't have a pie without Cool Whip. Cool Whip? Cool Whip, yeah. You mean Cool Whip? Yeah, Cool Whip. Cool Whip. Cool Whip. Cool Whip. Cool Whip. You're saying it weird. Why are you putting so much emphasis on the H? What are you talking about? I'm just saying it. Cool Whip. You put Cool Whip on pie. Pie tastes better with Cool Whip. Say whip. Whip. Now say Cool Whip. Cool Whip. Cool Whip. Cool Whip. Cool Whip. Cool Whip.
You know that's slang for balls, right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What? Oh, huevos.
Huevos.
Yeah. I was like, emphasis on the H?
No.
Wow. Indeed.
Yes.
I think we'd better hang it up.
I
for
know.
the
I
day.
feel like I'm heading into offensive territory.
We need to wash our cups. Speaking of weight, there was one more thing.
Yeah.
Anthony Michael Hall says, he has this quote, not us, not here, no way. And I immediately thought of drinking out of cups.
How's he doing? Think she's got it going bossa nova? No way. No way. What is this garbage?
Oh my God, listeners, if you have not, talk about inappropriate. There is a lot of terrible shit, but God, it is funny.
Why is it so funny? I don't know.
I don't know. I think
love
it's
it.
just the animation that's funny. It's
Partly,
what
yeah.
is it? A gecko, a lizard?
Yeah, it's a gecko.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, anyway.
It's terrible.
It's from 2007-ish, early
there you go.
internet
Oh my God.
days.
Maybe I'll throw in a clip if I can find
You should.
a good one.
There's some fucking Indian in a teepee.
Yeah.
Speaking
it's
of one of
terrible
the
stuff.
yeah.
Okay. On that note, oh boy, did we ever? We flicked some beans. Ugh. All right. Find us on. Oh, you already found us.
You found us, but find us on the socials.
Yes.
Give us a review. Tell your friends.
Yes. Subscribe. Love us because we love you.
We love you.
All right.
Bye.